Let's get to the legal landscape. Our legal analyst, attorney Dan Adams, joins us every Monday morning to break down the biggest cases happening across Wisconsin and the country. Dan, good morning. Good to see you. Let's talk about former FBI Director James Comey. A grand jury indicted him last week on charges of allegedly making false statements and obstructing Congress. What do we know about this indictment, and what do we know about any apparent defense that Comey may have?
Sure. Good morning, Jaron. So James Comey was finally indicted. Because there was 5 years, there's a 5-year statute of limitations in federal cases in which you can bring a charge. And this testimony that he provided to a Senate subcommittee, Judiciary Committee, was almost exactly 5 years ago. So the clock was ticking on the Trump Justice Department. We know that a U.S. attorney appointed by Trump was reluctant to bring these charges. And as this clock ticked down, Trump replaced that U.S. attorney with a someone perceived to be more loyal to him. And they brought this charge. False statement charges are very routine. Think of saying something untrue to a police officer, FBI agent, that type of thing. False statement charges to Congress are very unusual. But again, that's a testimony given under oath. If there's something that's untrue, it's material, and the person who made it knew that they were saying something untrue, that's the basis for a criminal charge. Here, we don't know. It's way too early to know whether or not the testimony, and again, this was about whether or not James Comey ever leaked or authorized a leak to the media. He was asked a direct question whether he ever leaked to the media. He said no. Whether or not that was true or not. And that would be obviously the defense to this case would be that he did not leak to the media. But there's a pretrial defense called vindictive prosecution in this case, a defense that could be brought before the case goes to trial, basically saying that the case was brought for a malicious reason. Certainly, Donald Trump has let it be known that he wants to prosecute James Comey for any and everything. So there is some malicious intent there, but also that it's retaliation for exercising a protected right. And I think James Comey's defense would be that he's being retaliated against for exercises his free speech right in criticizing the president. So there's a lot here, and I think there's some immediate defenses for James Comey, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, a lot to watch for in the coming days and weeks ahead. Martin Shkreli, the former pharmaceutical executive notorious for raising the price of an AIDS medicine nearly 700%, has been sued for infringing the copyright of Wu-Tang Clan's single copy released album Once Upon a Time in a Shaolin that he once owned. What's going on in this case here?
Once a Time in Shaolin, yeah. So Pharma Bro, as we used to know him, bought this single album. Wu-Tang made an album. It was one single, a physical album, not to be released for 88 years. Again, I think that harkens back to the 88 chambers of Wu-Tang lore. And he bought it. He reveled in owning it. He got into some trouble, and that album was forced to be sold to a third party, along with the agreement not to sell it to anyone else, however, or play it for anyone else, was not to commercially use it for 88 years. But Martin Shkreli made copies of the album before it was sold to the third buyer, and was bragging about this on live streams, playing portions of this secretive album. And the new buyer said, wait a minute, this thing is secret. This should be a trade secret under federal law. They brought a very novel action to go after Pharma Bro Shkreli, saying that he broke trade secret law. They have a civil cause of action. This has been pending for months to see whether or not a rap album could be a trade secret under federal law. Last week, the federal judge said, yes, it could because of the exclusive and very secretive nature of this album. They could pursue a civil claim under that theory. So Pharma Bro is going to be back in court for some time fighting the civil case.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on that case as well. Pretty interesting, Dan. Thanks so much for being with us. Always great to have your analysis. We'll see you next Monday for more of the legal landscape.